sorry, I should know the name of my own podcast by now. I chop and change between the Acorn Cottage Knits Knitting Podcast, which seems like a mouthful, or the Acorn Cottage Knits Podcast, or the Acorn Cottage Knitting Podcast. So I decided earlier I need to just pick a phrase for it and leave it as that, because I'm pretty sure I call it something different every single time. So my Instagram is Acorn Cottage Knits. So this is going to now be the Acorn Cottage Knits Podcast, which I think means I need to change my logo. Anyway, welcome to the Acorn Cottage Knits Podcast, and that's what we will go with. If I look down, I'm very sorry. It's because there is a dog trying to get me to play fetch with him. So I've realised that's a really stupid thing to throw the ball, because you can probably hear it hit the floor and him chase it. So I won't be doing that. And I'm really hoping the dog doesn't kick the tripod. He's desperate to play, so there is a good chance I'm going to have to stop this partway through and come back to it. In which case, I guess sorry. So Happy New Year, it's now 2024. For those of you who came across me during Vlogmas, thank you for following and just seeing what I've been up to, and we are back with regular podcasts. Back with podcasts, right, dog has kicked the tripod. Back with the podcasts, and yeah, we will see where 2024 gets us. I'm not making any promises about the frequency because life. I was going to film this last weekend and it just didn't happen. I wasn't feeling 100%, had a bit of a headache by the end of the Saturday and all of the Sunday, so there was no filming happening. Even though, sorry, dog again, Arlo, chill out. Right, this is probably going to have to be started again, but I'm going to persevere because it's taken me this long. So last weekend, yeah, didn't feel 100%. Planned to do it on a Saturday, made sure I looked vaguely presentable, and put makeup on, and then it just didn't happen. I had a nap instead, so highly recommend if you are not feeling great, just go and have the nap. Don't feel pressured into doing the stuff that you feel obliged to do. The other thing to say about this one is we are doing this without notes. The reason being will hopefully become apparent. This mess in the corner is probably a good hint. So yeah, 2024, knitting wise, I've got some ideas what I'd like to do this year, but there's not any kind of set goals. I'm not going to be doing like a goals for the year video or a kind of review of what I made last year, because quite honestly it's too much effort to find all the information and I gave a lot of it away. Yeah, so as you will probably have picked up if you saw Vlogmas or if you were watching some of the podcasts towards the back half of 23, we got a puppy in September. It slowed down the knitting a bit, not as much as I thought it would actually. He went through a phase of trying to grab hold of yarn and things, but he's actually been pretty good, and occasionally he steals things off the side, but as long as they tidy things away, then we're all right. So I have still been knitting, and I think that's most of what to say. Usual admin, I am on Instagram, I think I've mentioned that, as Acorn Cottage Knits. My Ravelry is the same. If I remember to link them down below, I will do. So I'm useless at Ravelry. I try and do project pages, but they're normally about 3 or 4 months behind when I suddenly remember that I've not updated any of them. Instagram, I'm on all the time, so if you ever want to get hold of me, that is the best place. Please do obviously like, subscribe, comment, all of that jazz on the video always helps, and that is one thing I would like to do in 2024 is just grow this channel a little bit. So if there's anything particular you want to see, then do give me ideas in the comments below, and certainly I'll make videos that people suggest if I have enough to say about the topic. I'm now being headbutted by the dog quite forcefully in the knees, so I don't think I'm going to make it out of this episode without bruising, at the very least. I think he's also just dropped the ball under the sofa. I'll be back. Oh, right, he'd have a dog. He threw it right under the back of the sofa and is now back to stabbing me in the knees with the ball because he really wants to play. He doesn't actually want to play, he just wants to think he wants to play. So, the purpose of this video, 5 minutes in, is a whip review. So my friend Lucy of the This Nanny Knits podcast had a big review of all of her whips, and I really loved the video. So Lucy, I am stealing your idea. And the other reason I'm doing it is we're generally just trying to keep the house a bit more tidy and organised, and my husband thinks I've got too many project bags out and about with things that don't get worked on. So we have a bet. He also wants me to do a full yarn inventory, and a spreadsheet and all sorts, because he thinks, again, there's so much yarn in it, he thinks I don't know what I've got. So that is, again, with the whips, he thinks I don't know what's there. So we've made a bet, and he reckons, I've got a post-it note that I had to write it down on. He thinks there's 20 bags in this box, and that I will know 40% of what projects there are. I think he's wrong, so I reckon there's about 14 bags. And I think I can probably guess a good 80% of, or not, no, it's not guess, is it? I know what my whips are. I haven't worked on a lot of them, but I know what's there. So I think it's closer to like 80%. So we'll see. And potentially at the end I'll try and sort them as I go through so I can keep track of which ones I knew what was in the bag and not in the bag. And yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. So that is where we're going to get to with this podcast. I'm just going to put a bit of water. And I'm really going to hope that the dog doesn't eat the whips, because he's literally stood right by my knees. Like, this is the dog's head. So maybe Arlo can come on the podcast later. I'm hoping he'll just go and chill out in a minute, because he had a big walk this morning. Literally, as I've said that, he's just gone and lay down, so hopefully we're good now. So, bag number 1. Now, I'm not sure this really counts as part of the basket, because it's the one thing that I'm actually working on monogamously at the minute. This is, so if I show you the bag first, and the bag is Sindra Arts. This was the bag that came with the Adventures in Yarncraft Advent. So I am basically just working on this at the minute, and I am making a shawl, which for the life of me the name has gone out of my head. It's Artemis Yarns, I know that much. Let me look up the name, because otherwise it's really not much help. So when I'm saying I know what's in the bag, I can't remember the specific pattern names of some of them, but I know what's in them. I can tell you it's what colour, vaguely what yarn it is, so I think that counts. And obviously I'm going to make the rules in my favour. So this shawl is, bear with, gosh, what's it called? The Moon Cloud shawl. So this, yeah, here we go. It's an Advent fade. I'm on colours, I think 16 and 17 at the minute. So I don't think I'm going to be able to show you the entire thing in one go. I did take a picture of it yesterday, just so I think when I was up to about colour 16, I will try and put that in. Because that gives you an idea. So we started off down here, and it kind of grows, then you alternate between kind of solid sections and eyelet sections. It's got a nice neat I-cord edging. Obviously all these ends will get sewn in. Start with the kind of the pinky purples. Dog is now trying to investigate. Arlo, go away. Down. Down. Leave it. Oi. No. Leave. Leave. Right. I thought this could happen. Dog's trying to eat the projects, because obviously I'm waving it around in the air. So we're going to have to see how this goes. So up through purples, blues, greeny, browny, bit of yellow. And we're just getting back into sort of browny pinks. So that's where we're up to. That, I guess maybe that is the best representation of the whole thing that I can do for you. Whether or not that gets suggested as a thumbnail, who knows. I feel like that's become more of a thing with watching podcasters. Martin from Knit 365 always does it, doesn't he? Like, tries to get freeze frames of what he's doing and see whether that is going to be a good thumbnail. Probably a good idea, because I always end up trying to screenshot part of it to then kind of copy and paste in my own thumbnail, and it doesn't work. So that Adventures in Yarncraft Advent is in that bag. Right, the dog really wants to be part of things or just play or something, so now growling in the background, and this is why they say don't work with children and animals. He's now found his Santa toy, so chew that on for now. Yeah, I'm not sure where I can put these down now that the dog's not going to eat them. Try and put it on that chair over there. Leave. So, I just think this whole thing's going to be a disaster. I'm going to persevere and really hope he just goes to sleep. So next up, basically just trying to not dislodge the pile. This one I know as well, so this is a bag from Woolly Mama Yarns. Dog has walked into the tripod again, sorry about that. I think I managed to change the settings on my camera as well so that it's not like mirrored image, so you should be able to read what's on things, because I realised when I was holding things up in Vlogmas that it then wasn't actually showing the writing in a way that you could read it. So if you can't read it, it says home is where the yarn is. So this has got in it, I should say before I open it so no one's claiming I'm cheating, this is my Tolsta Tee. Sorry, dog's trying to get the laptop charger now, so I'm going to put that away. Tolsta Tee is in this one, and it's made with a woolly knit cotton cone. So, this is where we've got to. Where's the front and the back? Not entirely sure. So I think that's the front. So I've split the sleeves and I'm just working on the body. I started this, gosh, some point late summer, maybe early autumn. So I'd like to have it done for this springtime. It's this lovely sort of, it's not coming up great actually, that colour. It's a bit blown out with the daylight, it's a bit darker than that. It's like a burgundy, red winey kind of colour. So it's the woolly knit cotton cone held double, and it's really nice and soft to work with, so I can't wait to actually wear it. I really like knitting the cotton in terms of not so much the feel of knitting it, but having that cotton top to wear is really nice. So it's the Tolsta Tee from the Cray of Eyre. Rebecca, she has the Cray of Eyre podcast, and patterns I believe under the Cray of Eyre. So there's not a lot else to say about it really. So this is definitely one that will get finished. I just need to work on it. So I wound off the cone. So half the cone is in a ball, half of it is still on its cone. There you go. I could actually tell you the colour, burgundy red. So basically what I said. So that's a project bag. So that's a definite one point to me because I knew what was in it. I might. I don't think there's 20 bags in there. He can't be right, surely. Can I just hide some if there are more than 14 so that I can win? No, obviously I won't do that. So that's project number 2. Oh, right. Had to go and... I thought I wanted to go out, took him in the garden. We've had zoomies, laps of the garden. It's been raining, so he's churned up all the mud. Decided to jump at me a lot, so... nice muddy jumper. So now I'm having to sit on a blanket on the sofa because he's also got the mud all the way up my jeans. We were going to go out tonight and yeah, now I'm covered in mud, so I won't be wearing these jeans. Obviously we're still going out, but not in this outfit. I wasn't going to wear this jumper, but anyway, jeans are ruined and everything needs a wash. Who would have a dog? So we've done 2 projects and not got very far with things. Dog's collapsed on the floor now, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we can get on with things. So this one is not a project yet, it's set up ready for a project. So I'm going to count it in the number of bags. So in here should be the wherewithal for making a Musselburgh with the other part of the Jane Eyre Advent. So I got the day 25 skein as well. I'm planning to make a Musselburgh, so it's kind of like a matching or corresponding hat to go with the scarf. So the yarn is here, all caked up. You can sort of see the greens and purples in there. So I think that'll make a really nice sort of, obviously coloured, but not too Intense Musselburgh. It is a bit more kind of greeny blue than the pictures showing up. Again, it's a bit blown out, so I'm not sure that that's really going to show properly. So that's in there along with hopefully all the right needles and to allow my needle stoppers. I don't know whether that's helping at all. Those were from Beautiful Knitters in London, and the project bag doesn't have a label. Sure it does. Talk amongst yourselves. No, I can't find a label. I was given it as a wedding present from my friends Lucy and Karen. So Lucy of This Nanny Knits and Karen from Knitting and Labradors sent me this as a wedding present. So it's nice teal colours. Teal's the wedding colour that we had, and inside really lovely flowery print as well. I really like this bag. It's a drawstring and it's got pockets and a clip inside as well, and an external handle. So yeah, really nice bag. So that's number 3. There's not a lot to say because it's not started. I think everybody knows the Musselburgh. I'm going to try and leave a list below of all the patterns I mentioned, because I'm either going to get the names wrong or I won't remember who they're by, and I'm bound to miss some information. This one obviously doesn't have a pattern page yet on Ravelry because it's not started, but I'm hoping that the others either do have a pattern page or this will prompt me to make a pattern page for them. So that's number 3. Water. Number 4. This one again, I'm 99% sure I know what it is. I thought this bag, yeah, this bag is from the Woolly Tangle, and I bought it at a yarn show. I can't remember which show it was. Might have Great North Textiles show, is that a thing? I don't know. But anyway, I really like the size of the bag again. Nice drawstring one and handle, so it's a really good size, this one. And this should have my Anthology Throw in it. So again, this is going to be a massive project to hold up. I'm going to try and remember not to hold it in front of my face for anybody who's lip reading. This is using my, gosh, what's she called? I have an absolute mind blank now, and I can see her logo in my head, and it's completely fallen out of my brain. So it was a Disney advent from last, so 2 years, 2022 technically, but I called it last year. Does that make sense? Anyway, 2022, started knitting it up last year. Gosh, what is her name? Truly Hooked. Obviously she's not, that's not her name, it's Verity, but Truly Hooked is the dyer. So it's not going to be able to hold up the entire thing anyway. You start from the middle. Oh, I like that, that looks really good. And work your way out through all the colours. So it's going to end up as this massive circle. It's bigger already than what it needs to be because I wanted to use all of every mini. Really regret that decision because it's made it so much bigger and it's taken so much longer. If I changed colour where the pattern said, there would be a lot of leftovers. Now, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this, probably not, but I have got a lifeline running through this here. And that is because I went wrong. And that's why this is just sitting in the bag with nothing happening. So I've kind of got past all of the eyelets and things, all of that malarkey. And so the edges are like a lacy pattern. And my stitches are not the right number. So I need to go back. There's like 1,000 stitches on the round. So I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to go back on it. I've got to the point, it took me ages to stitch the lifeline into it. So the lifeline is in, and I now just need to be really brave and rip back. So it's going to be certainly all of that kind of dark colour, and then I can't remember, that must be 2 different pinks at least there. So it's going to be quite a lot to rip back, and that's going to make me really sad to do it. But because that was a lot of knitting, you know, 1,000 stitches per I don't remember the actual like amounts I worked out, but at one point, like when I was even like earlier in it, where there's not even as many, well, not as close to that number, like a quarter of the number of stitches, if that. And so we were on holiday last May, and when I was knitting kind of these sort of sections of it, and I worked out how many rounds of a sock was equivalent to one round of this, and yeah, it's an absolute labour of love. I really wanted to finish because it's so pretty and I do really like it. So I just need to work out a way to fix this edge. So I'm going to rip back on it and hopefully find a way to make it work. Whether or not I actually can, or I don't even know if I had the right number of stitches. I don't really want to count 1,000 stitches either. Is it 1,000? Yeah, so it's got to be 1,000. It can't be 100 because that would be way too small if you've got 60 odd on the round of socks. Yes, over 1,000. That won't be fun to count, so I'm just going to have to blag it, or potentially just not do the lace edge and do something different. I mean, I've got, how many colours have I even got left? It's going to rustle, so sorry about this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think after the colour I'm on, there's going to be another 4 colours. Be a shame to not put them all in, I think. But also, I mean, hopefully if I rip back and get it going again, I will re-find my enthusiasm for it. Maybe it's the kind of thing I'll just have to get going and just do one row an evening or something. Yeah, the point where I went wrong, it was already feeling like it was taking forever, and then I just lost the enthusiasm. I love the yarn, it's such a lovely pattern as well. It's just me making a stupid mistake. I don't know where I made the mistake, so yeah, I'm not really sure what I can do about that. Maybe when I'm picking up the stitches I can put a marker every like 50 stitches or something, or even every 100 stitches. 100 might be too many to count without losing count. I don't know, do some markers and work out what my stitch count is, so then when I start the lace, hopefully, I don't know, I'm going to try and make it work, but we'll see. So that's number 4, and it's all just going on the chair next to me. Number 5, so again, I think I know what is in this one. This is a bag from Lauren Aston Designs. Stitch please, birthday present from a friend. I don't think this has got an active project in it. I think this has got all the ends of, so if you've watched anything from last year, you'll probably have seen I was making a jumper for my brother, which took me such a long time to make. It was ridiculous. I don't know why I'm waving my hand around here either, sorry. So, jumper for my brother, and I think that was in here. So it was a drops design pattern. I'm not going into it because long story about why it didn't happen. I finished it in the end, so that was what was in there. I'm counting that as I got this bag right, but I didn't realise I'd shoved something else in it for storage. So I've also got probably 80%, including the egg on toast stitch marker, of a Musselburgh. And I don't know why I've not finished. No, I do know why I've not finished it. So I've not finished it because so the yarn is such a nice soft yarn, but it's like that's all that's left. It's not like I've got far to go. It's not the colour I was hoping it was. So this was, long story. Originally this was, what was it? So it's Wild Purl Yarns, I think. Yeah, Wild Purl Yarns. So I love her yarns. I originally tested it before she launched some of it, and it's this gorgeous, squishy, soft yarn, and yeah, it was too brown. So I got this and a pinky one from the same collection that she did, made my sister in Musselburgh in the pink, and this was going to be for me. And I just think it's not a colour I'm going to wear, and that's why I didn't finish it. So I don't know what to do with this one. that's why the hat's not finished, because I just, yeah, not keen on the colour, and thought if I'm not going to finish it, then maybe it's not worth, I don't know, I just don't have the enthusiasm to knit on something I'm not going to want the end product of. I don't know what I'm going to do with the hat if I do finish it. So yeah, what do? Do I frog the whole thing? Seems a waste. I mean, I don't know what else I would use the colour for, quite frankly. I mean, it's not a boy colour by any means. It's just that the green and brown is just, it reminds me of khaki basically, and I just don't think that's me. It's probably not my husband's colour either. It's probably then too light for him. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen with that one. I'm just going to stick it back in the bag, and this is maybe an absolutely massive conundrum now as to my rules. So I think that's almost like half and half. So I'm going to put it on the pile and say I knew what was in there for the time being. But it probably does count as 2 projects in the count of things. So, well, it's 5, maybe 5.5. I don't know. I'm going to have to pause this at the end and work out the maths on it to work out who's won on this bet. And yeah. Anyway, so that's the next bag. This one here, I'm not going to hold it up yet to show you. It's a see-through bag, but I know what is in this. This is my Westknits socks from last year. Oh, skates of yarn for the Westknits socks. So I made one of the socks, and the sock is upstairs on my dressing table and has been there for months because I keep thinking I'm going to get on and do the next one. So I used Ducky Darling's yarn for this in the 2 different colourways. I can't remember if he had a name for this. I was going to call it the Twists and Turns socks, but it's not. That's a shawl. Is it just the mystery sock along? I've got the pattern in here, so I can look at the name. That would probably help. Again, talk amongst yourselves. When I say I've got the pattern, I mean I've got random pages of the pattern printed, because some of it I didn't need to follow a printed version. Yeah, surprise sock along, so I think that's right. So that was those. Now, I do want to make the second sock of those. I think they'll be really good, like boot socks for going out walking and things. They're probably a bit intense for kind of everyday stuff. So this is what I am learning about Westknits. There is another Westknits within this horrific pile, and yeah, I have so much respect for the genius. It is genius to make these patterns, but I just don't wear them, I think is the thing to say. Like some of them that are not mystery ones, I think would be more wearable for me. But the mystery ones, like I totally get it. You need to have, you know, a different element every week to keep people engaged with it all. But yeah, it's too much for me. So this is another thing I've learned this year, and I think I'm going to do a bit of a kind of change in opinions on, it's not changing opinions, but just my knitting tastes and things have developed. But I just think, you know, either crazy patterns or really colourful yarns, it looks great, and then I just don't wear the finished piece, and then that makes it a waste of money and of time. So I do think that's going to be a bit of a change for this year. But anyway, that's in the project bag, and the rest of it is a topic for another time. So that's going to be 6. I'm not counting the half projects at the minute. We'll come back to that at the end. So we'll stick with Westknits, and this I think should be my Twists and Turns, or part of it. I actually know where did I put it into there? Okay, so I'm counting this as being the same thing, because this was the bag from Knit that the yarn got delivered in, and the project was in here. I just needed, so basically I got this file with it. So I don't think I even finished clue 2. So the pattern came out on, Well, it's like the first week of October, isn't it? And it was 2022. Yeah, and I got married on the 1st of October 2022. So this came out whilst I was on my honeymoon, and yeah, not really going to be having all that much time to knit when we were on holiday, doing other stuff. So, and again, I've just decided it's too busy and I'm not going to wear it. I've since repurposed some of the other skeins of yarn, so the greys and the whites. I've not reused any of the blue yet, so it's all Phil Kalana Arvetta, and I used a grey and white together to make myself a score and headband. I used the grey along with a pink to make my sister a score and headband. So I've got quite a lot of blue. See, none of the full blue, no, full grey, plus the odds and ends of that. So I'm counting this as all as one project bag in the bag because it was all the twists and turns. It just got separated because I needed to get to the Arvetta. The project bag was made for me by one of the girls in our knitting group, so thank you, Lindsay, for that. Sorry for rustling. So yeah, that's all I can say about that project really. It's not getting finished, so that can go over there. That's a definite, yeah, no, I knew what was in that one. So there's only one, which was a surprise so far. Is that 7? I've lost count. I will do a count up at the end. I think I'm still on track to have the numbers right and to win the bet on how many projects. There can't be 20. I'm sure there can't be. I'm going to have such a horrible surprise if there's like close to 20 projects in there, because that means there's a lot that I've forgotten about. This one is cross stitch, and I knew that obviously I can tell by the feel of it, but also yeah. So there we go. I run on coffee and sarcasm. Actually, I've done more of the edge than I thought I had. So I decided to start doing some cross stitch. Just fancied trying something else as well, because you know, why have one craft when you can have multiple crafts? The reason I haven't finished this was because I was using the pattern on an app trial markup, RXP or something, I don't know. Anyway, it was a free trial. You got like 2 weeks of it, and then it was like 25 quid for a year's worth of subscription, and I'm sorry, but I don't do cross stitch enough to make that worth it. I could just print the pattern and use that and finish it, because I did really enjoy doing the stitching. I think the thing that's putting me off is, I don't know if this is going to show up at all now, but you can see across the top here there's some marks, and that's why there's now tissue under the top there, so it's a really cheapy frame. I think I actually got the frame with an embroidery kit, and it's just a cheap one, and it's left rust marks on my fabric. That made me really sad. So the original plan was to make this and frame it and put it in work, because long story short, the coffee machine in work is in my office because the kitchen's too small, so it just lives on the side of my office and people come in and out for coffee. So I was going to put this by the coffee machine because I thought it'd be funny. That's as far as we got with that. So maybe I will finish that. I mean, the pattern was like a couple of quid, and the floss isn't expensive, so yeah, I did like doing the cross stitch, and it's something I would consider doing more of, but I need to come up with a solution. Again, you know, just printing the pattern and crossing bits off as I go is the obvious answer, but I quite liked having it on my phone, on my iPad, and you could just like tap it off on the screen as you went. I mean, like, if that subscription was a lifetime thing, I'd probably just do it, but I'm pretty sure that was the year's subscription, and yeah, okay, maybe I'll just cross stitch this year and never do it again, in which case, but if I really like it then, and I keep having to do it every year because I've got hooked on using that app, and that was all the random rambling thoughts in my head, so that's why that's never got finished. So number 8, I think. We're counting that within the thing. It's not knitting, but we're going to count it anyway. And then next on the list, this one again, I know what's in here. This is my scrappy project, so it's the Coziest, is it Cozy Memories? Coziest Memory? So Kemper Wray, I think the pattern I'm using was by. So it doesn't look huge. I've got quite a long width, so I think it's definitely wide enough, certainly for like a single person's blanket, rather than like a double bed blanket, rather. Not a single person as in like not in a relationship or something, but a one person, single user blanket. So I think my width would be fine. And then that's as far as I've got on the height. So obviously there is a long way to go. I kind of wish I'd done it with bigger squares, because I feel like getting the motivation to pick up a new square is part of the challenge. Oh, that just looked like those two were the same. They're not, they are different yarns. They've just got quite a similar kind of speckly pattern in them. So I'm thinking about making this my Sunday project and only doing this on a Sunday. Like anything else I'm knitting, unless there's, you know, a really imminent deadline or something, and obviously with my knitting I can make my own rules on it. But I think that might be just on Sundays. So I actually do it because I've got so many bits of scraps, and the idea was every time I finished bits of hand-dyed yarn I'd put some of it in this blanket, and that's not happened. And I went through a phase of buying so many minis with the idea that they would go in here, and I've done Christmas swaps and Easter swaps with the knitting group, and that's all going in here as well now. I was going to do something different with the Christmas swap this year, but that plan's not happening, so it's all going in the blanket. So it needs doing, basically, because otherwise I'm just going to have this forever growing pile of mini skeins and scrappy yarn. So that's my thought, is I might just do it on Sundays. So the bag is an Emma Ball bag. You might have come across it, you've probably come across her before, so you'll recognise her sort of style. It's got this pin on it, how are you doing? Obviously with the friends style of writing. So the knitting group is the one with the knitting friends, so we got given that as part of a present last Christmas? Christmas 2022, because last Christmas is technically the one that's just happened. I get honest, I can't remember what I'm trying to say now, but anyway, that was part of the present and it's ended up on there. So and there's coffee spill on that bag as well. I blame my husband for that, because I wouldn't hurt my knitting in that way, obviously. I think actually I do remember him spilling the coffee, and I was just fine because it didn't go on the knitting. So that's, I was going to say number 9. I should have made a list as I went, but we should see. That is just random yarn that's got put in the basket, so that doesn't count in the number of things, absolutely not. Next is, ooh, I was looking for this bag. So, oh no, it's got a pull on it, a bit broken. It's a bit dirty now as well. This is an empty bag. Not very excited to show you, but I'm going to show you because the embroidery was something that my sister did, and I think it's beautiful and I love it. Yeah, the bag is a bit mucky because I've taken it out and about to places. So I'm glad I found that. There we go, what a surprise. I thought it, with the embroidery in, that might stop it getting damaged as much. So, yeah, that doesn't count. Again, that's just me clearly tidying things up into the basket. So that and the spare yarn can go down there. I can see the bottom of the basket, which means I've definitely won on the number. Especially if we're going for like a who's closer, it's going to be closer to my number than to 20. So this is an unmarked bag. I'm going to guess that this has got my, I can't remember the name of the pattern, so I think maybe the broken seed stitch socks. Anyway, if they're the ones I'm thinking of, I am using a white Arvetta and a skein from Erland Mill, and it looks in my head like a mermaid. So yes, I got it right. Okay, that's another one that I've won. So I finished one of the socks, and that was the sock. Hopefully you can see what I mean about the sort of mermaid scale pattern, or fish scales maybe, but with the kind of purples, I just think it's all mermaidy. So that was one sock, and I finished it, and I just haven't cast on the next one. So it's got the rest of the skein in here, all caked up still. So again, that's another thing I need to do, and I just need to crack on and finish that. So there we go. This one, I don't know what's in here. Nothing, storage. So again, I'm going to say that doesn't count because that was just storage, that just needs putting away. And then this one is, it's a shawl. Stormy Skies Shawl, Winter Storm, Winter Skies, something, I can't remember the exact name, but I'm using Yarn Unique, and it's in a bluey colour, and the colour is called Always, and it's a Harry Potter yarn, and I remember all of that, so I'm counting that as a win for me as well. The project bag, I can't find a tag on it. So, I think I got quite far with this. It was going to be obviously quite a small shawl. It's got a random thread, oh that's a lifeline, okay. So, I don't know whether this is going to work or not. I quite like that. I don't know why I didn't finish it. Maybe I just got bored. I think it was a pattern for a single skein, and I'm doing it with 2 skeins because I bought 2 and I thought why not. And I think maybe it was quite repetitive. So you do like quite thin sections of, so you do that kind of lacy bit, sorry I'm covering my face, I know I shouldn't do that enough, although my hair is a mess. So the kind of lacy section and then the solid sections, and clearly I've just started another lacy bit there. I'm stuck. Right. I don't really know why I stopped that one particularly. So it's this nice sort of like crescentish shape. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I don't really know what else I can say about that again. I'm going to find the pattern name. I'm pretty sure it's a free pattern. Actually, do you know what? This will be on my Ravelry because I know this one is on there. Ravelry patterns. Project pages. What are we calling it? Is it? No, I think it's used that one. Maybe it's not in my patterns. In which case I'm going to find a pattern. Oh no, it is that one. It's the Deep Winter Shawl. Mine does not look like that. Maybe it wasn't that pattern. Okay. I'm counting this as a win because I knew it was a shawl and I know what I'm doing with it. I just can't remember the name. Maybe it's... I've got a notebook. Okay, it is the Deep Winter Shawl, so it is the one that's on my Ravelry. I don't know why mine doesn't look the same shape as the one on there. Maybe I'm going to frog this. Or just... So I've got quite a lot of the yarn left. And it's a really pretty yarn. I really like that kind of section of all the blues. And I don't know what to do with it. I mean, it's got to have been over a year since I worked on this. And I think this is where I'm torn because I absolutely love the yarn. I think I was just... I wanted to do like scarves and shawls, but I wasn't confident on them and tried to pick something that looked easy. But actually then, you know, the shape and things, I think I didn't want a massive like multiple skeins, big commitment one. I thought like 2 skeins would be enough. What I'm learning is I like big chunky cozy shawls, and probably it's better for me to just, if I'm going to do them, commit to the big ones. Like my Advent one, I look like I'm conducting now. The Advent one is going to be big enough, that's what I'm trying to say. That's like nice and big and chunky. This is just, I think I would finish it for the sake of finishing it and then never wear it, and I'm not sure I can think of anyone to gift it to. So maybe I can frog the yarn and soak it and re-skein it, then it wouldn't be too crinkly. I'm not sure, so I'm going to have a think about that one. But I think that's probably going to get frogged. And I've still at least got almost a full cake, so maybe I'd do some socks with the rest of it or something. So that's, are we saying 10? Maybe. And then again, it's just storage in the bottom of there. So that is I'm calling it an empty basket because it's just got bits that never made it back into the proper boxes. And I've got a pattern for a t-shirt that I made last year. So that was storage. And they were storage. So they don't count. That just needs tidying up. I'm saying I won the bet. I think that, so we're saying there are 10 projects, 10 and a half, and I didn't know one of them. So obviously I'm closest on the number, so I think we've either counted 10 or 11 there. I said 14, so I win there, and I'm going to be very proud to rub that in his face that I was the winner. And then, yeah, what was the other thing said? Yeah, so I won on the number, and the percentages, I mean, even if we're counting that Musselburgh was in there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I've lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put these, sorry, I'm not counting this well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, 11, call it 12 if we include the secret Musselburgh. And that was the only one that I didn't know what was in there. So 12 divided by, what maths am I trying to do here? I cannot do maths, so bear with me. I am going to pause this, try and work out what maths I'm trying to work out. I don't think it makes sense. I'm trying to do my maths, and then I'll be back. As you will be gathering, maths is not my strong point. I'm just going to give up on maths, and yeah, I'm just going to take that as a win. So there's not as many projects as there could be. And we will see, I guess, where we get to over the year. I do want to bring the number down, that is the plan. So I'm going to finish working on the Advent Shawl. That's my main project. So the Twists and Turns is going. And there's a couple of others. So there's at least 2 pairs of socks in there that can be finished. Get those out of the way. I need to decide what to do with the Musselburgh and with that blue shawl. Let me know in the comments below what you tend to do in that situation. If you find a very long-term whip that's not been touched in a while. Yeah, to let you know your votes on it, frog or finish, for each of those. Because I just don't know what to do. I just think the yarns, the problem is the yarns are so nice, and I just don't think I'll use the finished piece, and that just, to me, I'm losing the motivation then to actually finish making it. So that's probably giving me my answer. Yeah. Oh, we will see what happens. So next time, I'm thinking it'll probably be more of a kind of standard format podcast, if that's a thing. But we shall see. As I said at the start, if there are particular things you would like to hear me talk about, then do let me know. Otherwise, just leave a comment to say hi, because it does help the channel. And hopefully some of these projects that we've been through today will come out during the year, and we will have a bit of a progress update on them as we go. So until then, happy knitting, and I will see you all again soon.